everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Rosie here, and in today's video we're going to be doing an unboxing. And by the way, ignore my nails because that was my first time doing gel nails and I kind of messed up. But anyways, so today we're going to be unboxing a Christmas present I got, which is the set of Ohuhu Kaala B art markers, landscape colors. And of course we just have the stuff you get in every set. And then we got little extra nibs, which is super helpful because you can replace the nibs if they get frayed. And then we got a colorless blender. As always, I have way too many of these now. And we've got the two tips. And then here are the markers. I love Ohuhus packaging. They're so pretty. And this is what it looks like. There are 60 colors in the set, so quite a few. And we get a nice little swatch card as always. And so basically we are going to be swatching these next, and then here's just kind of a look at what the tips look like. So we've got the thin tip, and then this is kind of like, this is a regular Ohuhu marker, so you can see that the tips on these markers are quite a bit thinner than normal, which I think will be good for detail work and everything. So yeah, let's get to swatching. Also, my last thing is that the colorless blender actually does not fit in the marker set, which was a tad bit annoying because I don't really know what I'm going to do with it. But yeah, that's my only thing so far though. And also, this video is non-sponsored, by the way. This is just a Christmas present I got, and I just wanted to make a little review video because I hadn't made a long video in a while. And I also just really wanted to try out these markers, and plus it gives me the motivation to swatch them if I'm making a video out of it, so there was that too. Anyway, so far I'm really loving these colors, and there was definitely some good colors that could be used for skin colors. But overall, like I said, this was more of a landscape color set, so I did have a bit of a problem with my drawing, which I will talk about a little more later in the video. But yeah, so here's what the swatch card looks like. We've got lots of nice blues and greens and good colors. And yeah, okay, so now we are going to get started on the drawing because that's what we are doing in this video, of course. I'm not too far into my sketchbook, but I have some pages done, so it's just kind of a little bit of a look at what I've done so far. This paper is definitely, I think, better for markers. It's blends better, but then also, of course, you get the bleed through in the back, so I don't know. Anyway, so here's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be making this fairy drawing, and it's kind of based off an image I found on Pinterest, but very loosely based. You will see in the end, but yeah, it's a very cute strawberry drawing, just very whimsical and stuff. And so that's kind of what we're doing, but I ended up getting very much away from the original idea because I had some problems with some of the markers and the colors. But yeah, and then so I kind of just sketched out the anatomy earlier, and then now I'm just kind of going back over it and doing the clothes and finalizing everything. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing right here because I wanted to include my sketching process, but it took me a while to get the proportions correct and everything, and I felt that was not something that needed to be included in the video. So yeah, and I know I have not been posting lately, but that's just because I don't know, I've just been feeling unmotivated, but I'm trying to get back into posting, especially because I have new art supplies I want to use, and I just have a lot of new drawing ideas now that I'm kind of out of the art block I was in. But yeah, this drawing was actually so much fun to make, and I was really worried it was going to be stressful just because of the pose with the arms and everything, and then just trying to get everything correct and the wings. But it actually ended up being pretty simple and easy and fun, and so I had a good time filming this video. And sometimes filming when you're drawing can be kind of stressful, which is why I sometimes put off making longer videos because it's you are under the camera the whole time. But this one was definitely fun to do, I think, and I didn't actually end up forgetting to film any of it this time, I'm pretty sure, I often do. But yeah, and I think the wings turned out pretty good. It took me a while to get the proportions correct, but yeah. These markers were actually, so that's the marker set, these markers were actually an early Christmas present, so I got them around December 20th, so I've actually had them for a month now, but I just haven't gotten around to editing this video. So I filmed this in a few days after Christmas, but yeah. Anyways, like I said, I actually had to use a marker from my other marker set to do the skin because there was just not really any good skin colors in this set. I'd originally planned on doing like pale skin with freckles and blonde hair for this drawing, but I quickly realized that like the colors I had chosen were way too dark, so I ended up changing the skin palette into like a kind of darker like olive skin tone, which I think actually worked out very well in the end. But I did end up having to use another marker, a couple markers from my regular Ohuhu Honolulu set, because like I said, this set was not designed for skin tones, and I don't know why I thought it would be a good idea to draw a person with a set that was specifically made for landscapes. I'm not really sure like what I was thinking here, but I think I did save it in the end, so this is definitely a trust the process drawing. But I did have a bit of trouble with the skin trying to fix my mistake because I kind of used this like very yellowish color. And yeah, here's how it looks now though, so I think I did end up saving it, but it was a close call for sure. But yeah, here's just a bunch of time lapse of coloring because I kind of just wanted to include my whole coloring process because I get a lot of questions about my coloring process, so I kind of thought maybe I could just like show a sped up version of it so you can kind of see like what's going on and everything. I have been getting a lot of requests for doing another long video, so this is what I'm trying to do, and people said the video was too short last time, so I tried to make this one a bit longer. I have a problem with like speeding things up too much, I think, and I always realize it when I go back to do the voiceover and then like I'm just like speeding through all of it. But I tried to kind of slow down a little bit this time. Overall, I think these markers are great. I think that this sketchbook is a bit different than my other sketchbook, and you kind of have to go over it a few times to get it smooth, but like you can kind of see like I think they blend well, and I think it kind of has this cool like textured effect that I actually really like. I really love that, and I don't know, I guess you guys can decide for yourselves what you think. I think this set, I really love the fine tips because as you can see, you can just get a lot of like fine details and everything, which I think is so cool. Also, ignore my nails because I literally ripped off the gel nail polish and kind of like ruined my nails, so that's just yeah. But like I said, I love the brush tips. I think they're so good for fine work, and sometimes like the other markers, the brush tips are so big that the marker kind of bleeds when you color, but these ones don't really seem to be bleeding as much because the tips are smaller. I would say one thing is the markers do have a bit of like a smell, like that like kind of like alcohol, like rubbing alcohol smell sort of. So I would say I definitely had to like open like a window when I use them, or like just have like a fan or something like that. I think that this set was like stronger for some reason, maybe because it was brand new, I'm not really sure, but I never really noticed much of like a smell with my other markers, but like these ones for whatever reason kind of have like that chemical smell. So like if that bothers you, I guess it's just like a thing to keep in mind. But yeah, so as you can see, we're getting pretty far. I actually did color the hair off camera because I needed like a better, like I needed people to like look at it closer, and I had like the camera right in front of my face, so yeah, sorry about that. But now I was working on the wings. I actually procrastinated the wings so much because I kind of didn't know how I was gonna do them, and so I was just like put them off for like a full week, and then I finally got around to coloring them a couple of days ago. So this video was very spaced out because you can see my nails keep changing and my clothes keep changing because I just like was doing a little bit at a time for like a long time. But yeah, and then also my nails, I got this like gel nail polish kit with like one of those little like curing machines where you stick your hand into it and it's like a UV light for Christmas. And then I got some of the clear gel, like the clear nail like bases. And anyway, it's actually so nice. I would highly recommend it because it's much easier than trying to mess around with like the acrylic thing. And I cannot afford to go to a salon every month or whatever. Like that's just too much maintenance, and I also just can't be bothered. But the gel ones are so fun because you can do your own designs and it's just like super fun. But yeah, I've had a really good time with them, and that's also not sponsored, but I just never realized that like the gel was like an option before. I always just thought it was like you could either do regular nail polish, or you could do the press-ons, or you could do acrylics. And now I've discovered these gel nails, and I think they are literally so much fun and they're so creative. So yeah, that was my other like really, I was so happy with that Christmas present. I was actually gonna plan on doing a Christmas haul this year, but I didn't because I kind of forgot like after Christmas ended, and then I couldn't really like remember what all the things I got were, and they're kind of just like in my like different places in my room now, and I kind of shouldn't be like getting them all like back out and doing a Christmas haul, so yeah. But I didn't really get much art supplies this year because I kind of already had a lot of art supplies from the last couple of years, so I kind of got a lot of like clothes, jewelry, makeup, room decor things, kind of just like that type of stuff. So I wasn't really sure if it was like anyone would actually care since this is an art channel. But I did a Christmas haul last year, so I think that was like good enough. But anyway, this was like my marker set of the year because I kind of just like already have all the Ohuhu and Artex marker sets, to be honest, like that I need. But this one caught my eye because it had like the different tips, which I really wanted to try out, and I have to say I love them so much. Like you can see like how much like better detail you can get like here on coloring in the wings. Like I need like a marker set of like 300 different colors that have these small tips, and I'm gonna look at Ohuhu and Artex and see if they have any more of these because I actually love the tips so much. And I didn't actually expect, I kind of didn't have any high expectations because I really like the other markers a lot, and I still love my Honolulu set, especially as far as like colors go. But these tips are so nice, and I would highly recommend. And I think the blending, it doesn't really seem to have much effect on the blending. Like it seems like the blending for these markers is as good as the other markers. I would say the only difference is these ones don't like bleed so much when you blend, which is like a super nice bonus. And it's kind of just like, I'm always a little bit lazy when I'm coloring and kind of get outside the lines, but these are pretty nice because it's harder to get outside the lines and you can kind of just like, it's easier to stay in the lines. But yeah, like I said, I kind of had to work around the colors because like I said, this set is not made for like drawing people or whatever. It's made for landscapes as it specifies, and so I kind of like had to play around with the colors, and so that's why the drawing is a little bit off in some places. But I did try my very best to only use colors from this set, except, like I said, for the skin color, I used a marker from my other set. But everything else is from this set, so you can kind of see, like, the range of colors you can get. Anyway, I think this drawing actually turned out so cute. I actually ended up loving the wings, which was surprising me, because I thought I was kind of going to ruin the drawing with them, but I didn't. At least, I don't think so. And I think her little strawberry purse and strawberry hat is so cute. I really need to do, like, more drawing off of Pinterest, because they always have such good ideas, and I feel like it always just, like, kind of, like, sparks my creativity or whatever, and definitely can like get me out of an art block. But I'm gonna try to be posting a lot more as like one of my New Year's resolutions, which I am not doing very good on at all. But yeah. But anyway, I kind of want to post some more long videos because I do think they're really fun to make. I always just like don't have the motivation to like start on them, but yeah. And anyway, so I'm just doing the highlighting now, and then overall, like I said, I really love these markers. They do have a bit of an alcohol like smell or whatever, but I think that's like not that big of a deal. But overall, I think they're great. Obviously, you shouldn't probably get this for your first marker set if you want to draw like people and stuff, because it is the landscape colors, but I think it's a wonderful like addition to your marker sets or whatever. Like if you already have other colors that are like better for drawing people, this is a great addition. But like I said, it's just the skin colors, there's not a lot. Anyway, overall I'd rate this set an 8.5 out of 10 because I love the tips, I love the colors, I think they are great. Ohuhu always has the best products, but like I said, maybe don't get it for your first marker set. Anyway, love you all, hope you have a great day, hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you later. Bye.